Hello everyone, my name is Ida Yumade Trisna Dujayanti, and now I would like to explain about my lesson plan. And there are two materials. The first one is narrative text, and then the second one is descriptive text. So I will start from the narrative text. So in this lesson plan, I would like to teach narrative text using discovery-based learning model in the 10th grades. The strategy that I use to teach descriptive text is the RTA, that is directed reading and thinking activities. And there are three learning objectives. The first one is the students are able to analyze the language features and the generic structures of the narrative text through a story and fill in the blanks. And then the second one is students are able to make a prediction in order to complete the narrative text to develop the students' critical thinking. And then the last one is students are able to comprehend a story by doing role play. Let's move to the learning activity. In this lesson plan, I use two meetings, and then for the pre-activity on the first meeting, as usual, the teacher greets the students, such as saying, "Good morning, how are you?" and etc. And then the teacher invites the students to pray together, and then the teacher checks the students' attendance. And after that, the teacher gives an icebreaker, that is Simon Says, to make students feel relaxed. And then teacher give an apperception by showing a narrative text entitled True Friend. And here is and here is the text. And here is the text. Okay, I will continue. And for the main activity of the first meeting, there is a stimulation. And the main activity that is in the stimulation, the teacher asks several questions related to the text. To the text, I mean that the previous text that is entitled True Friend, such as, what do you think we are going to learn after you read this text? And then, do you ever read this kind of text? Then, what we call this text? What do you know about this text? What are the generic structures of this text? What are the language features and etc. And then in the problem statement, the students are divided into 4 groups and ask them to write their prediction about the text that will be given by the teacher. So I will show you the worksheet. So in this case, I will give the teacher 2 different texts, and then they have to make a prediction in their group. And here is the first text or the first worksheet. You can read the direction, and here is the text that have to be continued by the students. And here is and here where they have to make the prediction. to make their prediction, they have to put the evidence in this text. It is the same as the first worksheet. This is the second worksheet, and then this is the second text. Okay, I will continue lesson plan. And then in the students are asked to read the text interchangeability with the members of their group. And after that, in the data processing, the students discuss about what will happen next with their group members, and the teacher monitors the students while making their prediction. Then, in the verification, each group will share the synopsis of their text and share the results of the discussion. And then, the group that has a same narrative text with the group that presents the result should give comment or suggestion or questions. So, there is a generalization. In generalization, the teacher clarifies the students' predictions, and then the students are directed to draw the conclusion about the lesson. And after that, the teacher informs the students to find and read a narrative text entitled The Ugly Duckling and New Friend at home in order to prepare themselves for the lesson in the next meeting. And then the teacher and students pray together, and then the teacher and the class. And for the second meeting, in the pre-activity, the teacher greets the students. The students and teacher pray together, and the teacher checks the students' attendance. And after that, the teacher gives an apperception by showing a video. The video entitled The King and His Daughters. And here is the video.
King and His Daughters.
In a kingdom far, far away lived a king and his 3 daughters. The king loved them very much, for they were good and beautiful girls. But one day he decided to test how much they loved him. The king gathered his daughters around him and asked each of them the same question. "How much do you love me?"
"Oh, Father," said the eldest daughter, "I love you as much as all the diamonds and all the rubies in the world, and more."
"That is excellent," said the king happily.
"Dear father," said the second daughter, "I love you as much as all the gold and silver in the world, and more."
"Wonderful," said her father, and smiled. Then it was the youngest daughter's turn.
"My father and king, I love you as much as all the salt in the world, and more."
The king was very surprised at her answer. "What did you say? I think I must have misheard you," frowned the king.
"I said that I love you as much as salt," repeated the youngest daughter.
"How dare you! Your sisters love me as much as diamonds and gold, and you love me as little as salt," said the king angrily. "Leave this kingdom right now and never come back." The little princess hid herself in the woods, but she soon got very tired. She sat on a log and started to cry, when a prince who was passing by on his steed heard her. As soon as he saw the pretty princess, the young prince fell in love with her. The prince took her to his castle and soon asked her to marry him. The young princess told him that she would only marry him if her father, the king, came to the wedding.
"Sadly, my father is angry with me and has told me never to return to his kingdom," she explained.
"Don't worry, my darling. I will send him an invitation to our wedding, and when he arrives, we will teach him a lesson,"
said the prince, and immediately sent a wedding invitation to the king. But the clever prince didn't write that he was marrying the king's youngest daughter. So when the wedding day came, the king arrived. He sat at the banqueting table in the place of honor next to the prince. Then he was served a meal which looked absolutely delicious. But when the king came to taste it, he frowned and cried out,
"This meal has no salt in it. I can't eat it."
At once a person wearing a veil brought him salt and said, "Here you are, my king. I hope that the meal will taste better now." The king immediately recognized her voice. The salt-bearer lifted her veil, and the king saw his youngest daughter. He understood at once what the prince and princess wanted to teach him. Ashamed of what he had done, the king begged his daughter to forgive him. The princess cried out in joy, "Oh, my father, I forgive you, and I love you with all my heart." They hugged each other, and the king, the prince, and princess.
And then for the main activity that is in the stimulation, the teacher asks several questions related to the video, such as who are the characters, what happened with the king and his daughters, what is the problem that arises in the story, and how the problem is solved. And then after that, in the problem statement, the students are asked to find a partner and work in a pair. The teacher gives a narrative text to the students entitled The Ugly Duckling and New Friend. And then the students are asked to fill in the blanks, then make a role play based on the text. And here I will show you the text. Okay, this is the ugly duckling and new friend text. So in here I remove the language feature and ask them to fill in the blank. Here is the instruction. Please circle the best answer for each question. So the students have to make a circle for one of the best answer. For example, like sat or sit or sits or sitting. Let's move to the lesson plan. And in the data collection, in collecting the data, students are asked to circle the best verb to complete the paragraphs. And after that, the students read the text, fill in the blanks by circle the best verb and fathom the characters they will play. And in the data processing, the students discuss the answer with their partner, and then the students are allowed to practice the role play before they perform in front of the class. And then the teacher monitors the students. In the verification, the teacher together with the students discuss the answer of the questions, the filling in the blank questions, and after that, the teacher chose some pairs randomly to perform the role play in front of the class, and each pair should give command of the performances. And then in generalization, in the post activity, there is a generalization. That is, the teacher gives feedback to the students' performance, and after that, the students are directed to draw the conclusion about the lesson, and then teacher and students pray together. And the last one is the teacher ends the class. Okay, let's continue to the descriptive text. So in this lesson plan, I teach descriptive text using discovery-based learning model in the 10th grades. So the learning objectives are the students are able to analyze the definition, language features, and generic structures of the descriptive text through a text. And then students are able to create a descriptive text. Let's move to the learning activities. So in this lesson plan, I also write for the 2 meetings and then in the pre-activity of the first meeting, as usual, the teacher will greet the students by ask how their condition and by saying good morning, good afternoon, etc. And then the students and the teacher pray together. The teacher checks the students' attendance, and then after that, the teacher gives an perception to the students by showing a picture of Garuda Wisnu Kencana and Danau Bratan. In the perception, students are asked several questions such as, do you know this place? Have you ever visited this place? Where is the location of this place? And etc. And after that, the teacher will ask students what we are going to learn today. And let's move to the main activity, that is in the stimulation. The students are shown a descriptive text entitled Tanah Lot. And here is the text. Here is the text. And after that, the students are asked several questions. The questions are, do you ever read this kind of text? And then what we call this text? What do you know about this text? What are the generic structures and the language features of the text? In problem statement, the students individually are asked to take a lottery, which each lottery consists of one island in Indonesia except Bali, because the teacher already shown a text about Tanah Lot, which located in Bali. And after that, teacher asks them to make a descriptive text about one of the tourist destination located in island that they got in the lottery. In collecting the data, the teacher asks students to do a peer assessment of the descriptive text with their partner and distributes the assessment paper to the students. And here is the assessment paper. So here the students have to assess their partner works by seeing some criteria such as developing ideas, organizing ideas, and the grammar also, vocabulary, and then the last one is the mechanics. Next, and then after that, the students are asked to find the information and take a note of the important information they found. And then they are allowed to find the information through Google, books, and etc. And students may make a draft before make a descriptive text in order to make it easier in arranging the information. And then in the data processing, the students are asked to break their draft into paragraphs of a descriptive text. And then in the post activity, The students are allowed to ask something they do not understand about the task. Then, the teacher asks students to do a peer assessment and give comment on their peers' work and assess their peers' work on an assessment paper at home. The students should assess how their partner developed and organized the ideas, the grammar use, the vocabulary, and also the mechanics. And after that, the teacher also asks students to bring the peer assessment in the next meeting. Next, the teacher directs students to draw a conclusion about the lesson that has been done. And then teacher and students pray together and teacher end the class. And then in the next meeting, as usual in the pre-activity, the teacher greets the students and then praying together, and the teacher checks the students' attendance. After that, the teacher invites the students to do an ice breaking, that is coconut. In the main activity of the second meeting, there are no stimulation, problem statement, and data collection. It starts with the data processing, where in this phase, the students give their peers' work back to their partner. And each student revised their descriptive text that already assessed and commented by their peer. Then, in the verification, some students are asked to present their work in front of the class. And then in the post activity, there is a generalization. In the generalization, the teacher gives feedback on students' work and teacher directs the students to draw a conclusion about the lesson that has been done. The students are asked to submit their descriptive text and also the assessment paper. And then the teacher and students pray together and the teacher ends the class. Okay, that's all about my explanation about the lesson plan, that is narrative and descriptive text. Thank you.